Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Off the Bench podcast. My name is Robert Sellers, and today we're breaking down all the college basketball action that occurred on Saturday, December 13th. And of course, there was amazing college basketball action today because when does college basketball ever not produce? It is always so electric, so exciting. It's my favorite sport, and I can't wait to talk about it today. As you can see, the first game we got to talk about is Nebraska, Illinois. But before we get to that, I'm just going to say I'm going to preview at the very end. We're going to talk about two college football related things that I had to talk about. One of them is a surprise, and the other is Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman Trophy, which I thought he deserved. I thought it was a great choice. I love Fernando Mendoza. He gave glory to God, which is spectacular. But that shouldn't distract us from what was an amazing, amazing Saturday of college basketball. I'm back in Houston right now, where I live with my family. I just got back. This is my first full night here, so the setup isn't really there right now. I know this looks really jank, and I didn't have time to set it up. But what I did have time to do is watch some ball. And that started with Nebraska and Illinois. Or it didn't start with, but that was my favorite game the whole day. I mean, this game was unbelievable. Nebraska, of course, won it on the buzzer beater. A great shot from Jamarcus Lawrence, who's got a great story, too. I'm excited to talk about Jamarcus Lawrence in a second. But I'm just going to say to start, Nebraska, with this win, is officially 11-0. That is their best start in program history, which is crazy. This is a program that has been along since 1897. And Stats and Info is telling me that that is a long time ago. I mean, it's a long time. 130 years is a long, long time, or nearly. It's like 128. So this has been a basketball program that's been along for forever, before like cars were invented. And this is their best start ever. Also, interesting stat about Nebraska. Nebraska has never won an NCAA tournament game. Not once. Literally 0 times have they won one. And could this be the season? I mean, they're going to be ranked in the top 20. They're looking like a great team. I know the Big Ten's really competitive, but hey, they just went on the road and beat one of the Big Ten's best teams. Am I worried about Illinois? No, I'm not. But Nebraska, it could be for real this year. I had a really fun time watching the first half of this game, mainly because Bryce Sanford was just playing with no fear, and he was putting up shots and hitting everything. Like, Bryce Sanford could not miss in the first half of this basketball game. I don't know exactly how many points he had in the first half, but it was like 26 points or something crazy like that in the first half. And he was absolutely going crazy. He finished with 32, 12 for 18 from the field. He was 6 of 11 from 3, and there were a ton of unbelievable individual performances today in college basketball. Bryce Sanford was one of the best. He dominated, especially in the first half, and really lit a fire under, I feel like, the entire Nebraska team, which ended up being able to close out this fantastic basketball game. Honestly, I thought after the first half, of course, Nebraska just went off to a crazy hot start, and most of that was because of Bryce Sanford just going nuts from beyond the arc. And then Illinois started to come back. I think they ended the first half on like a 13-0 run. And usually, when I look at how a game starts, if a team is doing well solely because one player is just balling out, I usually tell myself, okay, well, that he's bound to cool down. Like, Bryce Sanford isn't going to play at this level all game long. Like, that's not going to happen. He was like 6 for 6 from 3 pointers at one point. He's not going to end the game 11 for 11 from the 3 point line. Like, that's not going to happen. So my thought process with this game was Stanford's going to cool down, Illinois is going to come back, and they're going to end up winning this basketball game. And they did come back. I think, like I said, they finished the first half on a 13-0 run. They tied it at halftime. This game was tied going into the halftime break. And then in the second half, Illinois did a great job sticking on and covering Bryce Sanford and sort of pushing him off the 3 point line and making things very difficult for him. And he didn't necessarily beat Illinois in the second half. The rest of the team really just woke up. Ranked Mast had a huge game. Jamarcus Lawrence is a really cool story. I'm going to talk more about him when I get to the very end of this game. But Illinois stayed with him pretty much the whole game. Keaton Wagler played really, really good in this basketball game. I feel like everyone at the beginning of the year for Illinois, me included, was talking about that Eastern block that they got. I mean, the Slavic studs with David Mirkovic, Andrej Stojakovic, the Avicic brothers. We haven't seen Mihailo Petrovic very much this season. He's been battling injuries. In fact, I don't even really think we've seen him at all. But that's what everyone was talking about with Illinois. But to me, and what I've watched with Illinois this season so far, yes, I think Andrej Stojakovic is one of their three best players. I think he's phenomenal. And he's totally different than his dad and the style of basketball that he plays. But I think the key to Illinois' success, honestly, is Kylan Boswell and Keaton Wagler. I mean, these two guys really, for a lot of the games, determine whether or not Illinois is in games. And towards the end of the game, they're who has the ball. And I mean, Keaton Wagler is the one who had 10 assists today and only 3 turnovers. I mean, when you can run your offense through somebody like that, if you can have a point guard that you can trust to really get things done. I mean, today for Illinois, it was Keaton Wagler. He played great. Boswell was good too. He wasn't as good as he has been in the past, but he got to the free throw line a lot. And Stojakovic with a double-double, 19 and 10. He played as really, really well too. But what about the very end of this game? Jamarcus Lawrence coming off the screen, hitting the big time three to win the game. It was electric. I mean, on the road in Champaign, the fact that he did that was crazy. And I've been saying already a couple times on the podcast that he's had a cool story. Lawrence started in Nebraska, played like his first 3 years there, then transferred to Rhode Island, and then transferred back. So it wasn't like this flashy transfer a lot of people are talking about going into the season. But I think it's cool that like he was struggling in Nebraska, went to Rhode Island, got himself some more playing time, got himself some more reps, just a change of scenery, and then transfers back to Nebraska with that confidence. And now he's playing great at the point guard position, and he's part of the reason why Nebraska is playing really, really well. He's sort of the fluid piece that they have. I know he had 6 assists and only 1 turnover in this game. I mean, that pretty much proves it right there. So I really liked what I saw from him. And that clutch three at the very end was just I know that there was such a feeling of euphoria for him. After his first couple years of struggle in Nebraska, he had to leave to Rhode Island, came back to Nebraska, hit a shot like that to propel his team to their best start in program history, has got to feel good. So with this win that Nebraska has gotten on the road at Illinois, this is their best win. I mean, they've beaten Oklahoma. They've beaten Creighton. I know Creighton just lost to Kansas State today. They probably don't have much of a shot at getting an at-large bid. But, I mean, Nebraska has other big-time wins. This is by far their biggest win, especially considering that it was on the road. And it's a Big Ten game. Like, Nebraska's near the top of the Big Ten right now. I think they probably are at the top of the Big Ten. So the question is, at this point, is this finally the year? Will this be the year that Nebraska wins a tournament game? And I don't know, to be completely honest with you. I know there's only 32 teams in the league that win a tournament game this season. It's still so early in the year. I really like what I see from Nebraska. I think they're great. I think it was impressive that they hung with Illinois on the boards today. Illinois still won 34-27. They have so much more height and a lot more experience down there. But Nebraska, they play selfless. They pass the ball really, really well, and they hit big-time shots. So I would love to think Nebraska is going to win a tournament game this year. I'm cheering for it. I really like this Nebraska team. I think they might be one of the coolest stories in all of college basketball this season if they can keep this up. But as of right now, I am not convinced yet that Nebraska is going to win a tournament game. And I know you're saying, like, how can you not be? They're 11-0. They're such a good team. I know. I'm really going to be cheering for them. I hope I'm proven wrong. But it is just too early in the season for me to bet on that. So if you're making a bet with friends or with Vegas or whoever about if Nebraska is going to win a tournament game this year, it would be really cool if you bet it right now. But I don't know if I would do it quite yet. I might hold off a little bit and I might wait. But I still love this Nebraska team. I love Sanford. I love Lawrence. I think this team is phenomenal. And with Illinois, I'm not worried in the slightest. Again, I think when they get Mihajlo Petrovic back at full strength, I don't know when that's going to be. I think it's going to be soon, but I think he could be crucial to also helping this offense out a lot. I think having Tomislav Ivicic in the lineup and having him healthy was going to help a lot for Illinois, but they really didn't run much of their offense through him. He only had 5 rebounds. It's not like he did anything bad, but 29 minutes and 3 points is not what we usually see out of Tommy Ivicic. So that surprised me a little bit, but if Stojakovic can keep improving, I still think this Illinois team is great. I still think they can contend in the Big Ten. I think they should be way more consistent than they were last year. I mean, do we remember the Illinois team last year? They were so volatile. They would beat a really good team, and then they would lose to Duke by 40 in Madison Square Garden. And Duke was phenomenal last year. But like that Illinois team, they relied so much on their shooting, and it was so inconsistent. I think this Illinois team is much more consistent, not just from a shooting level, but I think they're at least maybe a little bit better defensively. They were not good defensively last year. I think they're a little bit better defensively. And I think just the vibe of this team, I really like. I really, really like Andres Stojakovic. I think that guy is a menace. I love him. But that being said, huge win for Nebraska. That's the main story here. I'm going to be cheering for them to win a tournament game. I mean, that's crazy. How has Nebraska not won an NCAA tournament game in over 120 years of being in a basketball program? Like 120. That's crazy. And they deserve it too. That fan base is awesome. Nebraska fans, they care deeply about like everything, about volleyball, about football, about basketball. I mean, they deserve to have a really good basketball team like this. I hope it continues this year, and I'll be cheering for them in the Big Ten. I think they're probably my favorite team in the Big Ten right now. So shout out to the Huskers for making some good corn out there. They're doing a good job. Second biggest story of the day. The Arkansas Razorbacks in the rematch of their Sweet 16 game against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They win 93-88. Big time win for Arkansas. They got their revenge against Grant McCaslin's team, and this was a fun one to watch. Texas Tech played better in the first half. Arkansas played way better in the second half. That was the short story. But, I mean, this is like the second or third time this game where JT Toppin has put up over 30 points and Texas Tech still finds a way to lose the game, which I just hate. JT Toppin is so good. I know I have to talk about Arkansas first because I have to talk about the winning team first. And I have a friend that has a really interesting theory on Arkansas. So me personally, here's my thought process on the Arkansas Razorbacks. I think this is a very John Calipari team. And what I mean by that is two things. First of all, they rely a lot on young talent. Calipari always has. Whether with his Kentucky teams, now with his Arkansas teams, it's Darius Acuff, it's Malik Thomas, and they've got a lot of true sophomores on that team too. And so with young freshmen, most of the time you start off kind of rough and inconsistent, but by the end of the year you really find your groove. That's kind of what happened with Arkansas last year, and I think it could be what's going to happen with Arkansas this year. And the second thing that John Calipari always does, and he talked about this in his post game interview today, he tries to get his players to play the best that he can. He's very focused, in my opinion, on the individual, on saying, okay, Carter Knox, for example, what can I do to get Carter Knox to play at his peak? And that goes with Carter Knox, with Billy Richmond, with TJ Wagner, with all their players. He's very focused on the individual. And it's not that he's not focused on his team, like he definitely is. But his mindset is if I can get every single one of my players to play their best basketball individually, then our whole team will play better together no matter what. And I kind of agree with that. And I like that approach, and it's very unique to him. And he's obviously had a ton of success in college basketball. So I'm not telling him how to coach. But that being said, I think that Arkansas, if they're going to be elite, if they're going to contend, if they're going to make a Final Four, if they're going to win the SEC, I think it's going to be done through Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, and the guard play really controlling things. And Darius Acuff played great today. 8 assists to 2 turnovers, in my opinion, is where Darius Acuff is thriving the most. I think he's really improving as a passer. I think Darius Acuff, I mean, all throughout high school, all throughout his basketball career, he's been the best player on every team he's played on. And because of that, he wants the ball in his hands at all times. And I understand that, like, completely. If you think as a basketball player that you have the opportunity to go win the game for your team, you're going to go win it. But Darius Acuff, in my opinion, going into the season, I said he needs to realize that he's working with a lot of studs. Like, Billy Richmond is so much fun. I love Billy Richmond. He just runs to the basket, man. He's so courageous, for lack of a better word. Carter Knox is a great shooter. DJ Wagner's a great scorer. He wasn't in this game, but he usually is. Malik Thomas is phenomenal. Calipari said great things about Malik Thomas after this game. So I think if Arkansas is going to have winning DNA, if they're really going to contend nationally, it's going to be through Darius Acuff and Malik Thomas and these guards and these young players and Carter Knox that Calipari is going to try and build through. In my opinion, that's the case. My friend's opinion that I talked about earlier is that Arkansas will 100% hinge on Trevon Brazile. And I understand where he's coming from because Brazile has been phenomenal the last 2 games against Louisville and against Texas Tech. I guess their last 2 important games. And I mean, today, 24 points, 10 rebounds, and he was 4 for 5 from 3. I mean, he's improved so much on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion. And I agree. If Arkansas didn't have him in the front court, and it would just be Malik Ewan and I guess an injured Nick Pringle. I don't know why Nick Pringle didn't play today. I guess he was injured. I like Malik Ewan as much as the next guy, but if they don't have Trevon Brazile, their front court is toast, in my opinion, at least. So I agree with. Oh no, Nick Pringle did play today. Sorry, I'm just blind. I think Brazile he really matters in this offense or in this defense for sure. Offensively, I think Calipari just designs a lot of action his way. He's a great shooter. He's improved a lot on that end too. But in my opinion, Trevon Brazile is a little too inconsistent to say Arkansas's success relies 100% on him. Because if that's the case, we know Brazil has great games like this. And he also has games where he's just playing soft and he can't shoot and he can't score. And if we're saying it all comes down to Brazil, if I'm an Arkansas fan, I don't like that because I know that that can mean really, really high level play. But at the same time, it can also mean bottom tier play that doesn't translate to wins. In my opinion, I think Trevon Brazil is going to be a fantastic, fantastic player on this team in defending the paint, shooting, stepping out and shooting threes, and scoring and playing above the rim. I think that is where Trevon Brazil can succeed. But if I'm John Calipari, if I'm an Arkansas fan, I think the way that this team finds its utmost success, the way it reaches its peak, is through your star players, Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, and Carter Knox. Those are the three, in my opinion. If Arkansas is going to win a national championship or make a Final Four, win an SEC, it's going to be through those three playing elite level ball. That's my opinion. That being said, Arkansas played great today. Calipari said over and over again, Carter Knox needs to realize that he shouldn't play towards what other people expect him to play towards. So I'm not even going to tell what I think about Carter Knox. I'm going to let Carter Knox do Carter Knox because he was 8 for 11 from the field today, 3 for 4 from 3, 6 rebounds, didn't turn the ball over. And Arkansas only turned the ball over 7 times. So I against a good Texas Tech defense. So I really respect what Arkansas did today. It's a huge win for them, for sure. Let's talk about Texas Tech for a little bit. Wow, JT Toppin and Christian Anderson played out of their minds. I mean, you could not have expected more out of your two best players, in JT Toppin and Christian Anderson. Toppin, 30 points. He is just so unstoppable. If JT Toppin gets to his right shoulder, just you're done. You're cooked. It's over. He's gonna score. He was 14 for 22 from the field today. Didn't shoot well from the free throw line at all, but had 11 rebounds, and he just an absolute baller. Like he makes it look so easy. That's the impressive part about JT Toppin, is like it looks like an easy bucket. He's got a little Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to him. I know that's a crazy comp, and it's not accurate at all. But when he gets like that one drop step in the lane, he puts up a little hook shot. He's got a little hook shot in it. A little hook shot. My goodness gracious, I can't speak. A little hook shot in his bag. Thank you. Words. They need to be spoken better by me. Anyway, Toppin played great today. Christian Anderson was 10 for 17 from the field, 5 for 11 from 3. I feel like Christian Anderson has played a little scared so far this season. I didn't see that at all from him today. He was playing aggressive. Every time he got even a little bit of room, he was letting it go. He also had 11 assists in this game. My goodness. And most of those, I guess, were just thrown at the JT Toppin and him getting a bucket. But still, I gotta point it out. 11 assists is pretty good. So Christian Anderson did have a double-double in this game as well, with assists and points. He played phenomenal, and he played at the level that I expected him to play towards this season. Like I thought Christian Anderson was going to be one of the best point guards in all of college basketball, and he played like it today. But not outside of Christian Anderson and JT Toppin. I mean, what did we really get from this team? Not a lot. Lamont Watts was in foul trouble the whole time, and he was 3 for 10 from the field. I mean, even when he was in the game, he was struggling. And I want to see Lawan Watts play more aggressively because I really thought he could fill the Darian Williams hole on this team. Similar build, similar play style. But, I mean, man, he just did not play well today. He's not been playing well all season long. It's just like he needs to get comfortable out there. He just doesn't seem comfortable. That's my main issue with Lawan Watts. Tyree Bryan didn't really do very much. Neither did Donovan Atwell. I mean, pretty much all of Arkansas's role players. Like that's where not Arkansas, Texas Tech. That's where Texas Tech needs to improve. I mean, JT Toppin and Christian, you could not gotten more out of those guys. They played so well, and you just absolutely spoiled a 30-point performance from JT Toppin and a 26-point performance from Christian Anderson because not a single other player on your team had 10 points or more. Also, they only played 6 players. Like, there's not much of events on this team. I like Jalen Petty as much as the next guy. He's small, though. I might say he's a little bit of a liability on defense. He did have 6 rebounds, though. So maybe what am I saying? But again, I mean, Texas Tech took care of the ball. It's not like those guys are making mistakes. Like I'm not out here saying Lawan Watts, Tyree Bryan, Donovan Atwell, like these guys are playing really terribly and they're out here messing things up for their star players. That's not what's happening. They're just not playing. Like last year, Texas Tech had JT Toppin and Christian Anderson, and they were both great. But they also had Chance McMillan and Elijah Hawkins and Darian Williams. And when you needed a bucket and you looked at those guys and you said they're not our star players, or Darian Williams was, but if you look at those guys and say they're not like one of the best college basketball players in the nation, but I can rely on them to put in 100% effort every single play and every single series, and like they're not going to be just sitting there running cardio. And I'm not saying that's what Texas Tech's players are doing, but I'm just saying that is where they need to improve. That's the area that needs to be fixed. But honestly, if you're asking me, if I'm not panicking on Texas Tech. Like I still think Texas Tech is a great basketball team. I mean, just look what they did last year. They lost to St. Joe's in non-con. I remember they lost to UCF in their first game in the Big 12. They did not have a great start to the year last year at all. And yet they came together, they pivoted, and they made an Elite Eight and nearly made a Final Four. Probably should have made a Final Four if Darren Williams made some free throws. And if Walter Clayton Jr. didn't just ascend into basketball lore. But that being said, Texas Tech, I'm not worried about them. I'm not worried about Arkansas. I think both of these teams have yet to reach their peak. But I really like what I saw from Darius Acuff today. I thought he played phenomenal. And JT Toppin and Christian Anderson are still one of the best duos in the sport, for sure, at the college level, not at the NBA level, of course. But this was a really fun game. I was really impressed with the fan bases. They packed out the house in Dallas, and big win for Arkansas, for sure. And a big win for the SEC. They needed a win like this because they've been struggling. Here's a prime example of the SEC struggling, for sure. Battle of the A logos, and Alabama in their own backyard got absolutely torched in the second half by the Arizona Wildcats. Alabama was winning this game at halftime, which is crazy to say. And Arizona just took the dial, if you can see the dial, and went just like that. They completely turned it up and dominated this game. In the first 10 minutes of the second half, Alabama scored 10 points. That's it. 10 points in 10 minutes. Not from Michigan State, not from Houston, from Alabama, from one of the best offenses in the country. And a NATO's offense held to just 10 points over a 10-minute stretch. To me, that's the most impressive part of this Arizona team. It's not Koa Pete, it's not Braden Burries. It is the defense, the overall collective defensive mentality from this unit. They dominated. Alabama turned the ball over 15 times. This is an Alabama team that doesn't turn the ball over that much. And Arizona only had 4 turnovers. They just have so much length on the outside. I mean, Lord help me, I had to try and pronounce his name. Ivan Karchenko. I'm just gonna call him Ivan. I'm sorry. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I go to University of Alabama. I don't know how to pronounce that name. He was a dog on the defensive side of the floor. Krivas is so good. 14 points and 14 rebounds. The dude's 7'2". The dude is such a presence in the paint. He can step out and shoot a three. He was only 1 for 2 today from 3, but he balled out. Braden Burries, man. Oh my goodness. I've been waiting for this breakout game from Braden Burries. And he just, he was so good. And in my opinion, this is how I went into the season for Arizona. Everyone was saying, Arizona, I mean, they got Jane Bradley. They got some guys, but they have so many freshmen, man. I don't know if I can trust this Arizona team because of their freshmen. Like I feel like they're going to start out slow. Arizona is the first team in the AP poll era to beat 5 ranked teams in 9 games. It's to start the year. So, no, they haven't started slow. In fact, they've started hotter than like almost any team ever in the history of college basketball. That's how good they've been this year. And in my opinion, I was saying, yeah, if you're relying on Jaden Bradley to be your star player, if Jaden Bradley's going to be your best player this year, and he is going to do everything for you, and if your team is Jaden Bradley, then yeah, you could be a 4 seed again. You can go to the Sweet 16. You might lose to 1 seed Duke again or something like that. But if Jane Bradley is your best player and your offense is working through him and he's carrying you, you're going to be good. You're going to be a good team because he's a good player. But if these freshmen take off, if Koa Pete hits, if Braden Burry hits, if Aristode hits, this team could hit a new height. This team could contend, and that is exactly what has happened. Of course, we know what Koa Pete has done this year. He didn't really do much in this game because he was in foul trouble. But Braden Burries, my goodness, talk about playing with confidence. Talk about being a well-rounded point guard. And of course, he only had 2 assists in this game. Jade Bradley's really their main point guard that handles the ball. But Burries was great defensively. He had active hands all day. He had a bunch of steals. At least that's what I remember him having. And he shot so well. He played with so much confidence. You saw it like 2 or 3 times on a fast break. Burries just pulls up, just hits a 3. I mean, Braden, he was so good in this basketball game. Like this Arizona team that I just saw can contend to make a Final Four 100%. They deserve to be ranked number 1 in the country. I still think Duke is the best team in college basketball. I will hold that opinion until proven otherwise. But Arizona is so good. This team they're really really good, especially defensively. They also absolutely dominated the glass, 52-32. This front court is nuts. Most of that is Krivas just being a dog, and also Toby Owaka just out efforted Alabama. Like their whole team just got out efforted by Toby Owaka. There were so many times where Toby Owaka just like bowled over people grabbing rebounds. He's a bull in a china shop, and Alabama's china shop was rather fragile down there in the front court. And Toby Owaka took full advantage. I mean, he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he fouls out. He doesn't care if he leaves the court without a jersey. That's a shout out to the Florida game earlier this year. Toby Owaka and Krivas will bully you in the front court if you are not aggressive enough to slow them down. And that's exactly what happened in this game. Arizona had so many second chance points, and they just played better physically. Like in every aspect of the game, Arizona played better. Even shooting the ball. I mean, this is an Arizona State team that not Arizona State. This is an Arizona team that only shot like 10 3-pointers a game going into this game. They shot 26 and they made 10 of them. Mostly because of Braden Burries, but also Delorso hit a couple threes. I mean, this is a really good team. 100% is a really good team. They're one of the best teams in the Big 12. And the Big 12 is probably the best conference in college basketball this year, in my opinion. And they could win that conference 100%. They could get a 1 seed. This Arizona State team is for real. In my opinion, I don't think they're going to win the national championship just because Duke is like I think Duke is so good. I hope they don't win because that kind of be boring for college basketball, but I really think Duke is really really good. I think Houston is still phenomenal. I'm not out on Houston at all. I still think they're one of the best teams in the country. Michigan obviously looks great, but this Arizona State team, if they play at their peak, if Braden Burries keeps getting better and better and Koa Pete doesn't get into foul trouble like this, then yeah, Arizona can compete with anybody for sure. Alabama, on the other hand, their problems are, in my opinion, rather unfixable. I think this is an Alabama team that makes a lot of sense, at least through our preseason evaluations of this team, which was, yeah, they have an elite backcourt. I mean, Philon is great. Right, so we know what he can do in terms of his shooting prowess. Holloway is so shifty and he gets open. He's a dog. And if they get Bethea, if he hits, I mean, this backcourt could be one of the best in the country. And we all knew that going into the year. And I think our dreams of the greatness of Alabama's backcourt sort of blinded us of the weakness that was the Alabama front court. And Sherrell had like 7 blocks in this game. I mean, he held it down, but when you get out rebounded by 20, there's not much you can do. And I know they turn the ball over so much, and I get that, but that to me is fixable. Like the turnover problem to me is sort of a coaching thing, and also you like Philon can take care of the basketball more. Bethea, if he gets more playing time, can take care of the basketball. Like this, they can do a better job staying disciplined with their passing and take care of the basketball. But if your front court gets dominated by the elite front courts in the league, if you get out rebounded by 20, just because you get out efforted and you got a big center that's 7'2" that you just can't affect, that's a problem. I mean, looking at the SEC, they have to play teams like Florida, teams like Kentucky, even a team like Arkansas, what we just saw from Trevon Brazil. I mean, Alabama might really, really struggle in guarding those elite front court players. They did against Purdue. They definitely did against Gonzaga, and they just did again against Arizona. So I think that's a major problem for the Crimson Tide. I think that's probably why you won't see them competing for a national championship this season. They could, again, I mean, they could get a favorable draw in March Madness again and work their way to the Final Four, kind of like they did in 2023. But I don't think that this Alabama team, I think that they kind of fell victim to Georgia Tech theory a little bit, which is a theory that we have on the show where the media tends to underrate a team to start the season, and then the team proves them wrong by playing really good, and then the media makes up for the underrating by aggressively overrating them, and then it sort of reverts back to the mean. I think that's what we might be seeing from the University of Alabama right now. But this is still a team. I mean, Aiden Holloway is still dealing with a wrist injury. I think that's why I mean, the game where Aiden Holloway plays 21 minutes and doesn't shoot a single three is crazy. Like that is weird. That is really weird. And I don't think you're going to see much of that in the future because I think Holloway's going to get more healthy. I think that's really going to help this team. But again, I mean, this team is just not elite defensively whatsoever. They have, I mean, they have games where they struggle shooting. They have stretches where they go really cold. They have a turnover problem. They can't rebound. So, I mean, this might just be Arizona being one of the most dominant teams in college basketball this year, but I do have I think there are a lot of problems that Alabama has that are sort of unfixable. At least that's my take. That being said, we're going to move on. Great win for Arizona. Great win for the Big 12. Fantastic job by Arizona. Also, going on the road. They went on the road and played this game at Birmingham. And Big time performance for Arizona. It was also an awesome environment, by the way. Just throwing that out there. Oh, what a game! This game was awesome, man. This game was completely not what I expected it to be. Kansas is becoming one of my favorite teams this year. I mean, they are. I love the story of the Kansas Jayhawks in 2025. I think going into the year, I thought what most people thought. This team is Darren Peterson. Like Darren Peterson is going to be so good. He's this amazing recruit. He's number one recruit in the country, number one NBA prospect in the country. He's going to come in, and yeah, I mean, Kansas didn't really put the best supporting cast around this superstar, so they're not going to be as good because yeah, they have one of the greatest players in college basketball, but they don't have the right pieces around. And that's what I thought in the preseason. That's what kind of everybody thought. And Darren Peterson looked great in his first few games, and then he went down with an injury. I think it was a hamstring injury, and which we got re-aggravated today. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But he went down with an injury, and everyone said, well, nuts. Now they don't have Darren Peterson. This team is going to not be very good anymore. And then the supporting cast just said, you think that's what's going to happen? We're gonna prove to you that we're still a good team. And they went undefeated in the Players era, and I really loved that. I thought the Darren Peterson injury was one of the best things that could happen to this Kansas team, which seems a little weird given that it's a short-term injury. I think that's worth saying because it really woke up the supporting cast. Because with the Darren Peterson injury, it gave an opportunity for Trey White, for Flory Badunga, for Melvin Council to make this team their own. And they really did. And you could tell in this game. Melvin Council just had 36 points on 9 for 15 shooting from beyond the arc. Melvin Council balled out in this game. Did not turn the ball over one time. I mean, the total last 10 minutes of the game and overtime, Kansas's entire team was just Melvin Council. Every time he shot the ball, it was going in the net. Literally every single time. He was so good. And this is Melvin Council. He's not an elite shooter. That's not what Melvin Council is. And he just casually went 9 for 15 from 3-point land. That's crazy. Best individual performance of the day, in my opinion, was from Melvin Council. He did it in the clutch. I mean, yeah, he only had 4 assists, but he didn't need to have assists because he was 13 for 27 from the field. He played so well, man. He played so good in this basketball game. I was so impressed with him. And I think he deserves all the shout outs in the world for that performance. It was fantastic. And the pass. Do you remember the pass to Flory Badunga at the end of that game? Oh, it was beautiful. Great job by Flory, by the way, for getting inside position, getting open. But it was a great feed from Melvin Council too. So that's the main story of this game for me, for sure. It has to be. Also, Flory Badunga, 11 rebounds. Shout out to you. Great performance there, sir. Way to be big down there. With Darren Peterson is still great. I still think. I mean, I picked Cam Boozer preseason to win National Player of the Year, and I'm sticking to that, and that's looking pretty good right now. But I do think that Darren Peterson is still the best freshman right now. And I get it. He came into the year being the best freshman, and now all the talk's on Cam Boozer, and it's on AJ DeBansta, and it's on Koa Pete, and Michael Brown and Darius Acuff, and all these studs, and for good reason. Like, those guys are all insane. But in my opinion, Darren Peterson is still the most talented freshman in this class. He can score at any spot of the floor. He can get to his spot, and he was 2 for 5 from 3 today, 7 for 14 from the field. Again, did not turn the ball over. He's still great. Of course, his main issue is the lingering hamstring injury, and that's why he went out in this game, was the hamstring. So what is this going to be? Is this going to be a reoccurring thing throughout the entire season and perhaps throughout his entire career? Or are we going to finally just give him some rest? Just rest him a little bit until he gets fully healthy and then play him. I mean, I don't know. I'm not on the Kansas medical staff, so I don't really know what's going on. But please get that man on the floor. I mean, I called him a bona fide American hero at the beginning of the year. I want to see him play. I'm tired of Darren Peterson getting a hamstring injury. I'm sick of it. But if Melvin Council wants to put up 36 points, then sure. I mean, fine. Go sit on the bench, Darren Peterson. Let Melvin Council win the game. But I love this Kansas team. I think I'm going to be cheering for them. This is why the Big 12 is so good this year. Just think about it. We got Arizona being the best team in the country right now. We got BYU having a lot of fun out there in Provo. They look like they're having a lot of fun. Houston, I think, is still going to win the conference. I love the Houston Cougars. Kelvin Sampson's doing a great job. Kansas looks phenomenal. I'm definitely missing Iowa State. I haven't even mentioned Iowa State. Iowa State is so good. I love Iowa State. They got Momcilovic. Josh Jefferson's proven everybody wrong. And Tamin Lipsey's playing some of the most efficient point guard play in the country. So this Big 12 conference is for real, definitely. And I really liked what I saw from Kansas today. Let's talk about NC State for a little bit. I have some beef with a singular player on NC State. First of all, I just want to say I love Darion Williams. I love that dude. I loved watching him on Texas Tech. I loved the fact that in March Madness, Texas Tech had JT Toppin on their team, who was a first team All American, and he was not like he did not make the plays in crunch time. It was Darion Williams making the plays. They trusted him, and he was aggressive, and he would go out and win the game. And I know Darion Williams played aggressively in overtime in this game. He put up 17 points, and he was 3 for 9 from three. I get that. I still don't think it's enough. I still think we need to see more aggressive play from Darion Williams in the moments where it doesn't matter the most. Like I get it, he showed up in overtime, but like he had like 9 points with 2 minutes to go in this game. Like Darion, you are the best player on this team, Darion Williams. You are. That's objectively true. So go out and play like the best player on this team. Give some effort. I didn't see much effort from him in like the first 30 minutes of this basketball game. And I'm mad at him because I love Darion Williams. And I think a full effort Darion Williams is one of the best players in college basketball. He's preseason ACC player of the year for a reason. He's supposed to be their bell cow. And he just hasn't been their bell cow this year. That's the best I can say it. I know he had 10 rebounds. I know he had a double double, but I just don't think it's enough. I think for NC State to be elite and for them to be a really good team in the ACC and to potentially beat teams like Duke and North Carolina, they're going to need Darion Williams to not have 9 points with 2 minutes left, in my opinion. And this was completely visualized when this was a tie game in the fourth quarter and NC State had a chance to win it. Darion Williams had the ball in his hand, drove to the wing, and passed it to how do you say his name? Quadir Copeland. Why would you name your son Quadir? I'm not hating. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the hate. Quadir, that's a cool name. Um, I am in Copeland right now. That is a stupid joke. Darion Williams, why are you passing the ball when it's a tie game and the game is on the line? Like you were paid, you were recruited, you came out of the transfer portal so you could win the game in those moments. Why are you passing the ball? It just made me frustrated. I want to see Darion Williams being the Darion Williams that I saw when he was a Texas Tech star last year. That's the Darion Williams I want to see. And I haven't seen it enough this year. And I was promised I would see it, and I haven't seen it yet. So I want to see it. I'm sorry. That's I know Quadir Copeland played great. I made him the MVP of this game for a reason for NC State. He really personifies the Will Wade mentality, in my opinion. Does Quadir Copeland? He had 6 assists in this game. I know he turned the ball over 6 times, but he plays aggressively. That dude has no fear. Had 19 points, got to the free throw line, not because he was hunting for fouls, but because he just goes up strong. And when you go up strong at a consistent rate, you're gonna get fouled and you're gonna go to the free throw line. So we need more. We need Quadir Copeland type play from Darion Williams. And listen, NC State was my sleeper Final Four team. I will say that. In my preseason, I said I think Duke's gonna make the Final Four. I think Houston's gonna make the Final Four. I think Kentucky's gonna make the Final Four. Ha ha! I know I was wrong about that. America was wrong about that. It was not just me. And I thought NC State was gonna be they were my fun sleeper team to make the Final Four. And Darion Williams, I trusted you, man. I put trust in you. And this is what I'm getting. I'm getting 9 points in the first 38 minutes of a basketball game against Kansas at home. Be more aggressive, dude. Gosh, I hate to be mad about this because I love NC State, but be more aggressive. Come on now. This is your moment, dude. You're in the limelight. What are we doing? Terrence Arsenault also has been really disappointing. I don't know if he's battling injury or if he's just not practicing well or whatever. But come on, 0 points for the Houston transfer. I was excited about Terrence Arsenault. Trey Holloman's balling. I like Trey Holloman. Don't go 4 for 16 from the field though. Like, good lord, pass the ball. I'm sorry. I'm just frustrated with NC State. I didn't mean to take the Lord's name in vain there. I apologize, God. But that being said, big win for Kansas without Darren Peterson again. If they can get him back healthy, and Melvin Council or Trey White or Flory Benunga can just put up an unreal stat line, then I don't think it's crazy to say that Kansas can beat anybody. I mean, I don't think it's crazy. You tell me. I mean, if one of your role players, if your point guard that's not known for being a scorer or a shooter puts up 36 points, I mean, that's probably going to work out for you, at least in my opinion. And it did for Kansas in this game. It was a great game, went to overtime. Great performance from the Jayhawks for sure. So we're going to move on to an interesting game out in Happy Valley. Ooh, Penn State needed this win, man. Penn State got just absolutely Lamar Wilkerson a week ago, and they needed this win against Michigan State, and they almost had it. It was a great fight for Penn State. You can tell their students wanted this one so bad. I don't know if every game's a whiteout in Penn State Stadium. It sure seems like it because every time I watch a Penn State game, it's whiteout. But this one was a whiteout. It was a great crowd environment, and they got a boy named Freddie DeLeon the fifth. What a freaking name! And he went out there and dropped 23 off the bench. Good stuff. That's nothing. I expect nothing less from Freddie DeLeon the fifth than 23 points off the bench. I mean, come on. Only 2 turnovers. That's my boy out there. I'm a big Freddie DeLeon fan. I didn't know he existed until today, but he balled out, that's for sure. Now, Michigan State, I want to give a huge, huge shout out to Divine Uguchukwu, if that's how you say his name. I'm just going to say Divine. But this dude was 5 for 5 from 3. I mean, when's the last time you remember Michigan State under Tom Izzo being 10 for 18 from the 3-point line? Like, that's crazy. That's good. They shot the ball really well from beyond the arc. That's been their main problem. And not to mention, they were 18 for 21 from free throws. This Michigan State team, shooting wise, in my opinion, is a lot better than they were last year, and a lot of that is credited to Divine Ogochukwu, Divine. And in the clutch moments, when Michigan State, like deep into the fourth quarter, when this is a really close game, they needed a bucket. They didn't go to Cohen Carr. They didn't go to Jeremy Fears, who, by the way, is so good. I love Jeremy Fears. They didn't go to Jackson Kohler. They didn't go to Cam Ward, the freshman. They went to Divine, and he dropped 23 points, 8 for 10 from the field. He did turn the ball over 3 times, which you don't want to see. But 5 for 5 from 3 is crazy. He played so well. He was just on fire. There's something that really, if you're watching a college basketball game that's close and you see a dude come off a screen on the road and hit a big time three to give the team the lead by 2, and that doesn't get you jazzed up a little bit, then college basketball is just not the sport for you. Okay, I don't care who's playing. I don't care if it's South Carolina State versus Prairie View A&M. I don't care if it's Duke versus Carolina or Michigan State versus Penn State. If I see a dude named Divine Oguchukwu, who probably has no future in the NBA, no offense to him, hit a big time 3 in a big time game to give his team a 2-point lead on the road, oh, that just gets me fired up. And that's exactly what happened in this game. So big shout out to him. Jeremy Fears again. I love Jeremy Fears. He plays so unselfishly. Like, this is the most Jeremy Fears stat line you will ever see. 8 points, just 8 points. He played 29 minutes and 8 points. And you're like, what are you talking about? That's not that much. He was 2 for 5 from the field, 9 assists and 3 turnovers. Dude puts up 9+ assists like every single game and rarely scores 10 points. He's just, his vision is unreal. He's so selfless. He knows what the defense is going to give him, and he plays so well. I'm a big, big fan of Jeremy Fears. Jackson Kohler did his job. Like, every guy on the team does their job on Michigan State. That's why Tom Izzo is so great. Is he gets every guy to play their role so perfectly. Jeremy Fears is the conductor of the offense. He's a great passer. He doesn't play the role of shooting a bunch. Divine Oguchukwu, his role is being a 3-and-D player, and he plays great D and shoots. He was 5 for 5 from 3 today. Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper get in the paint, rebound, and be lob threats. Today they combined for 18 rebounds, and they helped out rebound Penn State by 13, which is part of the reason they won this game. One of the main reasons they won this game. Cohen Carr, be electric on fast breaks. They didn't get many fast breaks because they didn't force many turnovers, and he wasn't trying to do too much. He only had 3 points, but he was 1 for 4 from the field. Michigan State, they had players do such a good job knowing what they're supposed to do, doing it, and not playing selfish and intruding into other players' areas. I don't know, that might be confusing, but I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. But if you do, you're riding with me, and that's all I want to hear. I did respect the effort of Penn State for sure. Michigan State, like, usually, I remember last year when Michigan State would struggle, it was either, wow, Jace Richardson had a bad game, or this team cannot shoot. To me, the struggle point for Michigan State today was not this team cannot shoot. It was this team thrives off of forcing turnovers, and they didn't force a lot, and they turned the ball over 17 times, which is weird. You don't see that from Jeremy Fears very often. He only turned the ball over 3 times, but usually Michigan State doesn't turn the ball over ever. So shout out to Penn State's defense for playing well, and Michigan State, we got to be careful with the ball, or else this can happen. And who knows, if you turn the ball over 14 times or 17 times against Penn State, yes, you have a chance to win, but if you turn the ball over this many times against Michigan or Illinois or Indiana or Nebraska or Maryland, you're going to have a tough time. I mean, that's just the way it is in the Big Ten. You got lucky that you had one of your off games against Penn State. No offense to them, but Penn State isn't Michigan. Penn State ain't Indiana. Penn State is not Illinois or UCLA or any of these other elite Big Ten teams. So that's just the fact of the matter. So we got to clean that up, Michigan State. But great job by everyone doing their roles and playing the Tom Izzo way, to put it lightly. So great job, Michigan State. Big time win. Louisville. Oh my goodness, man. This was an absolute splattering. This was sad to watch. I wanted this game to be a close game. I really did. And in the back of my mind, I was kind of like, that's just kind of a pipe dream. Louisville's so good, and Memphis is not very good this year. Like, there's no way that this is going to be a close game. But I wanted it to be. I wanted the renewed rivalry to actually be a good game in the Yum Center, because the Yum Center's fun. But my goodness, this was just an absolute splattering. Louisville was 18 of 35 from three. It felt like they were 35 of 35, to be completely honest. They could not miss. Literally, like every single player on their team could not miss, except for Isaac McNeely. He's been a little shaky recently, which is a bit of a surprise, but they were just unconscious from deep. It's not like one player balled out. I mean, all of them balled out. Every single Louisville player balled out in this game. Michael Brown is just a freak. He's a freak of nature. That dude is awesome. He got to the line a lot this game, but he can shoot. He's fearless. That dude is fearless. And he's so athletic. Like, I didn't know Michael Brown was going to be so athletic. I knew he was going to be a good scorer. I thought he was going to be an okay passer, and I thought he could be really, really good on this basketball. That dude he can jump. I mean, he dunked on Trevon Brazile a few days ago. That was awesome. He just with the left hand, yammed on Trevon Brazile. Did you see his block? He blocked like a 3-point shot. He flew through the air to block the shot. And then Memphis got it back and scored, I think. But oh my goodness, Michael Brown is insane. He's one of the best point guards. I think he's probably the best freshman point guard in this class. That's kind of hard to say. I guess Darren Peterson is a point guard. But I think Michael Brown's best freshman point guard in this class for sure. He's one of the most talented point guards in the country, if not the most talented point guard in the country. I know Braden Smith exists, but like in NBA potential, if you're an NBA GM, would you rather Michael Brown or Braden Smith? I'm taking Michael Brown, in my opinion. But that being said, Ryan Conwell has been so consistent this year. He's such a great shooter. He attacks closeouts so well. Ryan Conwell's a dog. Adrian Woolley played really good off the bench. Adrian Woolley, I think, is one of the more unspoken guys on this Louisville team that is so good. He's a transfer from Kennesaw State. He balled out with the Hootie Hoo Owl. Shout out Davis Harper. But Adrian Woolley played great today. 5 for 8 from the field. Only 2 turnovers. I mean, this Louisville team, in my opinion, can make the Final Four. I think this is one of the best offenses in the country. I think this is the best backcourt in the country. I mean, you tell me who's got a better backcourt than Michael Brown, Ryan Conwell, Adrian Woolley, Isaac McNeely. I mean, they're so good. And they also, I mean, their front court is getting a lot better too. Sanandra Frew played good today, I guess. He only played 21 minutes. They were dominating this whole game. But Sanandra Frew is good. He's physical. He's aggressive. He plays with passion and effort. I love that out of him. Kayshawn Pryor, if you like really aggressive guys that have blonde bleached hair and a bunch of tattoos and shoot threes and have headbands, then go for it. I mean, if that's your party, then Keyshawn Pryor, however you say that name, Pryor is where the party is at. Let me tell you. Personally, I don't love stretch bigs, so I don't love seeing a big shooting threes. I'm more of a classical DeAndre Jordan type guy. Just get in the paint and baptize somebody. That's what I like to see out of my bigs. But I mean, still, Pryor's fun to watch. I mean, I'm not going to take that away from him. But yeah, Louisville's phenomenal. They could make the Final Four if that backcourt plays. I mean, I've made comparisons with the Louisville backcourt to the Florida backcourt of last year. I think they're kind of similar. Of course, they're very different because of the personnel, but I think they're kind of similar, which is an absolute maniac dog at point guard. Florida had Walter Clayton. Louisville's got Michael Brown. I know those 2 players are so different. I'm not comparing them to each other. I'm just saying I'm kind of comparing them to each other, I guess. And then Isaac McNeely and Ryan Conwell and Adrian Woolley, to me, kind of remind me a little bit of Elijah Martin, Will Richard, and Denzel Aberdeen. A little bit. I don't think they're as elite defensively, but they're really good players to complement a Michael Brown. I've made that comparison. I mean, you could tell me I'm completely wrong, and I would kind of listen to you because I'm kind of talking on my butt right now. But I'm just saying, Louisville can make a run, for sure. I love Louisville. Great team. They could win the ACC. I would not be surprised at all. I'm saying that as someone that thinks Duke's going to win the national championship. Anyway, Memphis, I'm sorry, Penny. Dude, I hated to see this. I really did. I wasn't cheering for Memphis in this game. I just wish this game was closer. I mean, this is the renewal of one of the best rivalries in the sport, and I really, really wished that we got a good basketball game. But Memphis is what, 4-5 at this point? Their at-large hopes are probably gone. I would say the only way Memphis makes the tournament at this point is if they win the American Conference, which won't be the hardest thing in the world for them to do because they're probably the best team in the American Conference. But this was rough. They didn't shoot the ball well at all. 3 for 11 from 3 is just weird. And that's just weird. And their defense was the worst part of this game. They didn't have much effort out there on the defensive side of the court. They could not run Louisville off the 3-point line at all. like at all in this basketball game, which was sad to see. But I mean, you can still win the American Conference and find your way in. But Louisville was leaps and bounds better than Creighton this year, or Memphis this year, and Creighton. That to me was pretty obvious. How about Kentucky, Indiana? First of all, it was cool that Dickie V and Charles Barkley were on the call together. I will have to say that it got annoying a little bit, to be completely honest, because they kept like talking over each other. It was weird, but it was cool. I guess it was cool. And boy, did Kentucky need this win, didn't they? I mean, the yappity yap on Mark Pope has really been getting high. I thought Kentucky was going to be the best team in the SEC this year, and obviously they've struggled. They have not been that yet, and they got a big win today. And honestly, it's not like they had a crazy performance out of Otega Owe. He's been underwhelming all year. They didn't have a crazy performance out of anybody. And a lot of that is because DeVries coaches defense over there at Indiana, 100%. But in my opinion, in games like this, where Kentucky is not going to have as good of a backcourt as I thought they were going to be, when you're not getting 20 plus out of Owe, when Jasper Johnson isn't what you thought he was going to be, or Jalen Lowe isn't scoring at a consistent rate, and you're struggling to get buckets, in my opinion, that is why getting Mohamed Diabate was so important for this team. Is because he is the effort, gadget, no matter what, I'm giving 110% guy that's going to hold this Kentucky team together when they're struggling in these types of games. And that's exactly what happened in this ball game. Mohamed Diabate had 12 rebounds. I think he had 5 steals, which was awesome from him. He had 14 points. He got to the free throw line because he just kept playing aggressive. He's scrappy, he's physical. And I mean, he's not the most skilled guy on this team by far, But Aberdeen was 3 for 7. Owe was 2 for 8. Colin Chandler was 1 for 7. This Kentucky offense played not good at all in this basketball game. And because Mohamed Diabate was efforting, they ended up winning. And also shout out Jalen Lowe. I really like Jalen Lowe. I think you need to give him the ball more, Kentucky. Why does he only have 2 assists? Give the man the ball more. But that being said, I mean, I'm still worried about Kentucky for sure. I think if Quaintance comes back and is just an absolute baller, to me that's the only way Kentucky competes nationally in the SEC. Because Otega Owe, I don't know what happened. Like Otega Owe was electric last year. He was a baller. Like he was in all the big moments he showed up. He was a great player. And maybe not having like an lights out amazing shooting core with guys like Jackson Robinson and Kobe Bryant that they had last year, maybe that's making them take a step back. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But Otega Owe, man, you gotta wake up a little bit. Like 10 points, 2 for 8 from the field. Is that what we're really putting out there? I don't know. I think that's Kentucky's main issue is that their guard play hasn't been there this year. They've had to rely on Denzel Aberdeen, and Denzel Aberdeen is like not the most elite basketball player in the world. That's just the truth. I know he's won a national championship, but come on. And so if this continues from Kentucky and Jaden Quaintance isn't the truth, then this could be a little sketchy for him. I'm still not convinced on him. But I do love Mark Pope still. I think Mark Pope is so cool. He's a great guy. I think he's a great coach. If I was a Kentucky fan, I would keep him around. But it's hard, it's hard when you're Kentucky and you have all this talent and all this money. Like, this is the most expensive roster in college basketball, and they're sitting here at what, like 6-4? Is that their record right now? 7-4? And Nebraska's over there at 11-0, and they just went on the road in Illinois. So it's hard to see the silver lining in that, but it's there. And if Quaintance, just wait till Quaintance gets back. If Quaintance gets back and the team looks completely different, then at least you have something. At least you have a bone that was thrown to you. Indiana, on the other hand, they played miserably offensively. I thought they played a great defensive game. They out-rebounded Kentucky. They did everything right there. It's just Tucker DeVries was 4 for 13, and Lamar Wilkerson was 5 for 11. And I kept hearing, I hate the ESPN halftime reports and the post-game reports because it's obvious to me that they don't watch the games fully. It's either that or they just don't know ball because they always say like, but man, Tucker DeVries, Indiana was down. He was doing everything he could for this Indiana team to bring them back into this game. Listen, I get it. Tucker DeVries is a great player. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's the engine of this Indiana team, and he's great. That's not what I'm saying. But he had a bad game. Can we not just recognize that? Like, Indiana didn't lose despite a great performance from Tucker. He was 4 for 13. He was 1 for 9 from 3. That's not a great game. He had 4 turnovers. Just come on. Lamar Wilkerson had 0 assists. It pains me to make him the MVP of Indiana because he didn't have that great of a game. But, I mean, who else? Who else am I going to put up there? I still have trust in this Indiana team because of their defense. I think they're going to be consistent. To me, this is just a one-off offensively. I think they're going to be back. I think DeVries and Wilkerson are going to play much better. Let's not forget, I mean, Lamar Wilkerson dropped 40-something points against Penn State earlier this week in like 23 minutes. I remember I was sitting with Will, my roommate, watching the UConn-Florida game, and he Will just goes, "Oh, Lamar Wilkerson has 45 points." I was like, "What? How did that happen?" So this Indiana team can score. Wilkerson and DeVries can wake up and play hoops. That just didn't happen today. And it's concerning that both of them had off nights on the same night. But sometimes that just happens. And once we get into the Big Ten play, I think they'll be more consistent. I think they'll be better. And if they play like this defensively, I trust Indiana to win some games. I think they're better than they were last year. I'll say that. Michigan wins 101 to 83 over Maryland. This game was close at halftime. Okay, that's the only reason I'm putting it on here and the only reason I'm talking about it. Maryland was winning this game at halftime, pretty much entirely because of David Coit. Also, Adai Mara didn't have a rebound at the halftime break, so that's worth noting. He's like 7'3" and didn't have a rebound. So shout out Pharrell Payne and Solomon Washington for playing great. But to me, that was why they ended up losing this game. Pharrell Payne and Solomon Washington were playing good physical. Buzz Williams football mind. They were playing good aggressive defense and good solid play and good Buzz Williams basketball in the front court to start this game. And Pharrell Payne went out because of injury, and Solomon Washington picked up 2 technical fouls. So they were done. And after that, I mean, when your 2 best starting front court players are done and you have to rely on Elijah Sanders to pick up the slack, it's not really going to work out for you. David Coit, I mean, was phenomenal. He was 8 for 12 from 3. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry, kid. I'm sorry you put up 31 points and had a career day and your team lost by nearly 20 points. It's unfortunate. But hey, you're playing Michigan. I mean, what else did you expect? Yaxel, how about this stat line? I'm just going to read the stat line for Yaxel Lindenborg. I'm just going to read it out. Just listen to this. So 37 minutes played, had 29 points, 8 for 11 from the field, 4 for 5 from 3, did not miss a free throw, was a perfect 9 for 9 from the charity stripe, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 singular turnover. Nearly a triple-double from Yaxel Lindenborg. To me, everyone said Yaxel, he's going to come out here and he's going to drop 25 points a game. He's going to be a great scorer. He's going to be phenomenal. That's why he's going to be such a valuable asset. I thought Yaxel Lindenborg was going to be the most well-rounded player in the Big Ten. And that's what he was tonight. It wasn't just the scoring. It wasn't just the three-point shooting. It was 9 assists. Like, my goodness, he had 9 assists. Elliot Cadeau had 10 assists, which is 19 between the two of them, if you're not a math major. I am not a math major either, I'm just saying. And, I mean, they played great basketball. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well. They were 12 for 19 from 3. Never mind. My goodness. They were 12 for 19 from 3. Yeah, I mean, this Michigan team's great. If I were to make a Final Four right now, if I were to say these 4 teams are making the Final Four, I would probably say Duke. I'm still trusting Houston. I would throw Michigan in there. And the 4th, I haven't decided yet, but if Iowa State stays healthy, I love Iowa State. I know I'm leaving out Arizona. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll play Arizona. Fine. Those 4 teams are making the Final Four. You've heard it here first. If I'm right, come talk to me. If I'm wrong, it was just a stupid December prediction. But anyway, Elliot Cadeau played great today, too. He's had 10 assists, only 3 turnovers. That was good to see. Michigan's good, man. Their defense is so good. They're great in the front court. They defend well in the back court. They've shot the ball so much. They were struggling so much shooting the ball at the beginning of the year against Wake Forest and TCU, but they really came alive from the perimeter. They fixed the turnover problem. I mean, this defense in this front court is so good that if Michigan is shooting 63% from 3 and is only turning the ball over 9 times, they're not going to lose. It's just that simple. So shout out Yaxel. Adai Mara played better in the second half than he did in the first half at 18 points, only 3 rebounds. So shout out Buzz Williams for limiting Adai Mara to only 3 rebounds. Morez Johnson Jr. is physical out there. He's always going to be great. Big time performance from Michigan once again. It's just same old story. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Michigan's good. Breaking news: Michigan's good. I had to talk about this game. This is a surprise. The college football surprise. You know, you might be saying, Robert, who are those 2 teams? What are those logos? What am I looking at? What's on the screen? I thought this was a college basketball video. Why am I? If you want to leave, you can leave. I don't really care. I have to talk about this game because this was a game of the year in college football. 100%. Prairie View A&M versus South Carolina State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, gave us the best college football game of the year. This game went to 4 overtimes. We had 2 dynamic, unreal performances. Here's what happened in this game, by the way. South Carolina State was 9-3 entering this game. They've never won 10 wins ever as a program. So if they win this game, not only do they win the Cricket Celebration Bowl, but they have 10 wins for the first time in program history, and they got smoked in the first half. They were down 21-0 at halftime, And yet, they kept fighting because they had an absolute bell cow by the name of Jordan Smith, who was doing it all over the field, had 9 catches, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns, 5 carries, 28 yards, and another touchdown. And because of him, because of this defense, because of the coaching, because of South Carolina State's spirit, they came all the way back, tied the game, and forced overtime. And in overtime, it was one of the most electric overtimes I've ever watched. Prairie View A&M and South Carolina State both hit long, clutch free or field goals to in the first overtime to make it 38-38. And then South Carolina State threw an interception on like the second play of double overtime. And you thought, okay, game's over. And Prairie View, they took a knee. They said, we're going to take a 36-yard field goal. And I was like, dang, man, this was a great game. I wanted to see the South Carolina State comeback. It's just unfortunate that they're going to go out this way. And then God intervened. God got a mega God leaf blower and blew the Prairie View A&M field goals kick wide left. And the game continued. And we went to a third overtime. And then nobody did anything on third overtime. Then we went to fourth overtime. And there was a controversial 2-point conversion from Jordan Smith where he stretched the ball out to the pylon. And did he get it over? Did he not? That was the question. They went with the call on the field. Prairie View A&M got stonewalled, and South Carolina State came away with a big-time victory. It was awesome, man. I love that win so much. For whatever reason, I sort of like, if I don't have a horse in the race, I just kind of just randomly pick a team and cheer for them for no reason. South Carolina State was that team, and I cheered for them, and they won. It was awesome. So that was so phenomenal. I mean, I loved watching this game so much, and I had to talk about it. Unreal. I mean, this is college football at its finest. I had friends that were saying, "Man, that was a terrible call. This is what's so bad about college football." I was like, "What are you talking about? We just had an amazing game in the Cricket Celebration Bowl between Prairie View A&M and South Carolina State that I loved watching, and this was phenomenal. I loved every second of it." By the way, Prairie View A&M also had their first 10-win season in program history. So what a great couple of years for these two HBCUs, these two stud programs. Cameron Peters, by the way, I was texting my friends, give this man a Heisman vote. Somebody. I know Fernando Mendoza got 95% of the first place Heisman votes. I think the other 5% voted for Cameron Peters after what they saw him do this year. 24 for 36, 412 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Also had a rushing touchdown. He did everything he could. I feel bad for Cameron Peters because he balled out there. Unfortunately, he just came up a wee bit short. Great effort, though, from Prairie View A&M. What a great game. I mean, this is phenomenal. I love watching. This is like one of the most entertaining football games I've watched all year. So shout out to the Cricket Celebration Bowl for giving us just an absolute 5 Chalai Classic, to quote Josh Pate. Just great performance from both of these teams. And the last thing I have to talk about today, I got to give my opinion on Fernando Mendoza winning the Heisman Trophy. I think he deserved it. He played phenomenal all season long. In my opinion, there's 3 criteria for the Heisman Trophy winner. That is a great statistical year. You got to have one. You can't win the Heisman Trophy if you put up Jackson Arnold numbers. You got to have a Heisman caliber team. Like I don't think that you have to be the number 1 overall team in the country, but your team can't go like 3-9 and you win the Heisman Trophy. That can't happen. So that's criteria number 2. And criteria number 3 is the most important to me, and that is having a Heisman moment. Everyone talks about Heisman moment. No one really defines it. In my opinion, a Heisman moment is making a big-time play in the biggest moment of your year. And Fernando Mendoza made a big-time play 2 times in the Ohio State game with 2 glorious fade balls, and then, of course, had the Heisman moment against Penn State on the road as well. So I think Fernando Mendoza enjoyed it, and I love the first thing he did was give glory to God, which is what else could you ask from a man? He did a great job up there. Gave one of the greatest Heisman speeches of all time, and he deserves it. I mean, just look at that smile. He's got a great smile up there. I love that from the kid. And I love this Indiana Hoosiers team, man. I remember I said it after the Oregon game. I said, I'm tired of being proven wrong by the Hoosiers. So here's what I'm going to say. Indiana's going to win the national championship. They're going to win the Big Ten championship. And Fernando Mendoza is going to win the Heisman Trophy. 2 of those 3 things have happened. We're just waiting on the third. And you know what? You know what I hate hearing? I hate this so much. I've heard so many people say at this point in time, whether it's content creators or analysts on ESPN or whatever it is, I hear so many people saying, Indiana, man. I mean, I love Indiana. No one is higher on Indiana than I am right now. What do you? That's not like a crazy thing to say. They're number 1. Of course, now you're high on Indiana. Where were you after the Oregon game? I mean, were you still one of the people that are saying, yeah, but they're Indiana? I don't know. I don't think they. I don't want to hear you say a word about Indiana unless you were high on Indiana at least since the Oregon game. That's what I don't only want to hear from those people. because I'm not listening to you take credit for thinking Indiana's good after they beat Ohio State. No, you're not allowed to do that. That's not how this works. If you thought Indiana was going to lose to Ohio State, if you thought Indiana wasn't going to make the playoffs, if you thought Indiana is not going to win the national championship, and you're at this point in time right now, I need you to stand up and raise your hand and say, I fill in the blank, doubted Indiana. I doubted Curt Cignetti, and I'm going to take full blame for that. I don't want to hear people say Curt Cignetti is amazing, and he is amazing. But I don't want to hear people take credit for being an Indiana fan right now. I hate it. I, Robert, picked him to lose to Oregon. I will admit that. I Robert, picked him to beat Illinois. I picked him to lose to Oregon. And then I, Robert, after I was proven wrong, picked Indiana to win a national championship, a Big Ten title, and Fernando Mendoza to win the Heisman Trophy. I'm declaring that right now because I did it. And you know what I also did? I picked Minnesota to almost make the playoffs. I picked Kentucky to be the best team in the SEC. I picked Clemson and Penn State to make the playoffs. I will admit that. I've been wrong a lot this year. But I was right about Indiana after the Oregon game, and I want respect for that. I'm sorry. I don't need respect for that. I don't ever really deserve any respect. I mean, what have I done to deserve respect? But I'm just saying, I did say that. I'm sorry. I picked Indiana to beat Ohio State, and I thought it was the funniest thing. Someone commented on that video. It was like, ain't no way Indiana's beating Ohio State. Curt Cignetti is the new James Franklin of the Big Ten. Give me the Buckeyes by 50. It's not even going to be close. And then the game happened, and he deleted the comment. And I was like, dude, that's hilarious. My man did not have the spine to endure those comments. But I just thought that was funny. No hate to that guy. I pray for him, and I hope he's having a great life and with a great relationship with God. No hate towards him. I don't know. I just had to go on a rant. I love Fernando Mendoza. I love this Indiana team. And people are still disrespecting him. I'm tired of it. People are saying, oh, Indiana's a great draw. I've heard so many Alabama fans say that. I think, if we play Indiana, I'd be happy about that. Give me Indiana. They haven't been tested. They don't have any backbone. They don't have the championship mentality. What more do they have to do? What more does Indiana have to prove? I mean, they've literally gone through everything this year. They've been doubted so much to start the year. They've blown out teams. They've looked really good. They've struggled with teams. They won a game on the road against one of the best teams in college football. They beat the best team in college football in Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. They've had struggle victories on the road at Iowa, on the road at Penn State, where they had to have tough skin to get through that game. They've done everything. Indiana is good. They're elite. They're the best program in college football right now. They're probably my pick to win the national championship, but they have been since October. I'm sorry. I probably woke up my mom just then. I'm sorry, Mom, if I woke you up. Anyways, that's all I have for the podcast today. Mostly it was college basketball because I love college basketball. I just had to fit in some Indiana rant there and some South Carolina State appreciation. But if you get anything from this podcast, anything from the show, anything from me, it's not that I love Fernando Mendoza or I love Indiana or I love Darren Peterson or I love Melvin Council or Arizona's great or Alabama sucks. It's not any of that. It is that Jesus Christ loves you, is that fulfillment on this planet is found through Christ. And I know that can be hard to believe sometimes because we do undergo tough things. We undergo challenges, whether it's struggles with friends, struggles with family, struggles with money, struggles with what you're supposed to do in life. I mean, everyone goes through that sort of thing. I do too, especially. I am no better than any of you watching this video. I'm a sinner 100%. But the thing that I'm trying to do right now is be patient. I mean, Advent is the season of patience. And if we can sit down and say, you know what, things might not be going well for me right now, but if I can grow closer to God, if I can work on myself and I can be patient, then God's plan will be realized. And he will show up in my life. God won't abandon us. Even though we walk through the valley in the shadow of death, we fear no evil because God is at our side. His rod and our staff comfort us. I mean, Psalm 28 is a banger. Go check it out. It's super famous, I know. But I'm just saying, have patience, have hope. If you're struggling with something right now, it's okay. You're going to get through it because God loves you. And if you don't know the first step to take, pray for me. I mean, first of all, say, hi, God. My name is fill in the blank. I'm here right now. I'm struggling with these things. And I don't really know how to pray. But, I know this guy, Robert, and I know he needs prayers because he's not the best Christian out there. He's not the best guy. So I just want to pray for Robert and his struggles. And that's what I want to do. And then when you pray for me, go pray for your friends and your family. Go pray for yourself and go pray for everyone you know. And, sooner or later, you're going to have a great relationship with God and you're going to have more patience and have more hope and have more faith. I promise you, the happiest, most fulfilled people on this planet are those who have great relationships with Jesus Christ, because that is where true fulfillment lies. I mean, we are made to experience God's love. And I could rant about this for 30 minutes. I'm not going to. I could rant about this in Indiana football for 30 minutes, both. I'm saving you both of those things, but just know that if no one else is in your corner, if nothing else is going well for you right now, if you are a Kentucky basketball fan and you're thinking that everything is falling through and the sky is falling down, it is okay because all these things on earth are fleeting. Everything is fleeting except for God, except for our relationship with Him. And He will never leave us, He will never abandon us, and His love is what we were truly meant to experience. So we're good. I mean, why are we worrying, guys? Like, God has us, He's got us. I think that's so incredible. Like, I'm just sitting here looking at the Houston sky and I'm saying, you know what? God's got me. No matter what happens, no matter how many views this video gets, no matter how many comments or whatever anyone says, God has got me. And He's got all of you too. And that's what I'm going to leave y'all with. So thanks so much for watching. God bless. If y'all want to watch another video of mine, go ahead. I mean, I love talking ball. If you don't, that's fine too. I hope you enjoy your life. I hope you have a great life and existence. So I appreciate you stumbling by and listening to this rant. And have a good one. God bless and good night, folks.